What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of K-Cards Baseball. Thanks for joining me tonight on this wonderful Friday evening, wherever you might be. I normally make a hobby news video on Friday night, but tonight we're going to do something a little bit different because, quite honestly, there isn't a lot of stuff going on right now in the hobby as far as hobby news. There isn't any news on any new releases that are coming up other than Topps Finest, which we did talk about last week. So I didn't want to talk about that again this week. Instead, we are going to focus on the top 100 prospect list. Again, we haven't made this type of video in a little while. It is kind of a fun video to make, and they normally are quite successful, so I thought it would be a good time going into the second half of the season to look at the top 100 prospects again. We're going to do it with a little bit of a twist, however. We're going to focus on the top 5 players that have not currently been called up by their Major League Baseball team yet and are expected to be called up by the end of the season. I would expect most of these players that we're going to talk about tonight to be called up in the September time frame. We're going to go through each player's current stats, kind of. We'll touch on them for sure. And then we will go to eBay and look at their Bowman First cards or their rookie cards and see what cards we can get at a really good value, invest in right now, with the idea of possibly flipping them once these players do get called up to the big club, possibly by the end of the season. Even if they don't get called up by the end of the season, it is still a really good investment to make, because most of these players have been climbing the top 100 prospect list for a little bit of time, and I would expect most of them to continue to do so. So with that being said, I'm going to flip the camera around to the computer, take a look at the top 100 prospect list, highlight those players we're going to talk about, and then we'll go to eBay and look at their Bowman First cards and see what kind of value we can get. First up on our list is Marcelo Mayer, the number 7 prospect overall in all of Major League Baseball. He is 21 years old. He is a shortstop for Portland in the Boston Red Sox organization and is considered to be the number 1 prospect from the 2021 draft class. Let's take a look at a little highlight from Marcelo Mayer.
Marcelo Mayer heads to the plate. Another left-handed bat, the 0-1 swing, and this one is hit in the air. It is towards right field. Charging in is Vericoto, and nobody will get there, and they let it fall. Mayer slides into second base, and he is saved. 1-0, swing and a chopper. This one towards the second baseman. It's out of his reach. It gets into the outfield. An RBI single from Marcelo Mayer. 1-0, swing, and this one is hit into right, and it'll get down. 1 run will score. They're going to stop the next. It's an RBI single for Marcelo Mayer.
At AA Portland this year, he is batting .309 with .375 on base percentage and a .486 slug for an OPS of .861. Quite a nice OPS. His strikeout to walk ratio is a little bit on the high side. He's got 30 base on balls as compared to 62 strikeouts. So that is a little bit high. So his plate discipline does need to improve a little bit. But if the Red Sox continue to have a good season and get themselves firmly into the wild card chase, maybe you might see Marcelo Mayer have a pretty strong impact for the Boston Red Sox before the end of this season. Next up on our list is Coby Mayo, a third baseman slash first baseman for Norfolk in the Baltimore Orioles organization. Let's take a little look at a highlight of Coby Mayo.
In the air, center field, Victor straight back. He won't have a play. Back-to-back home runs. Coby Mayo to the bottom of the batter's eye bushes. 438 feet dead center. My goodness.
I have been talking about Coby Mayo for quite some time. If you do look back at some of the videos that I've made, this is a guy that I've highlighted more than once. At the beginning of the season, he was down in the mid to high 30s for prospects, and he is currently moved up to number 15. and I would expect him to be called up by the end of the season. Unfortunately, though, the Baltimore Orioles do have a kind of a glutton of prospects down at Norfolk. Currently, Coby Mayo, even though he is the 15th prospect in baseball, he is the 3rd prospect in the Baltimore Orioles organization, behind Jackson Holliday and Samuel Basallo. I have heard that the Baltimore Orioles are playing Coby Mayo quite a bit at first base and would like him to focus on that position because Gunnar Henderson is not going to be leaving third base anytime soon. Coby is currently batting .310 with a .390 on-base percentage and a .639 slug for an OPS of 1.029. He is one-dotting his OPS. Last year, he had a .973 OPS. This guy is definitely ready to move on to the big show for sure. He does need to do a little bit better as far as his strikeout to walk ratio, but he is a guy with a tremendous amount of power. He has hit 22 home runs this year and 277 at-bats, 33 base on balls to 77 strikeouts. So the plate discipline isn't there, but again, he is a power guy and would be an ideal first baseman for the Baltimore Orioles, and I would expect him to be a long-term first baseman once he is finally called up. Next up on our list is the number 41 prospect in Major League Baseball, Jace Jung, third baseman, second baseman in the Detroit Tigers organization at the AAA level. He is the brother of Josh Jung with the Texas Rangers. Most scouts say that Jace actually has more of an upside than Josh does. Hopefully Jace isn't as injury prone as his brother is. Only time will tell as far as that goes. Here's a little clip of Jace Jung.
And Jace Jung, 3-2 pitch is hammered deep to right. Gentry a few steps back. He looks up and the ball's gone out of the berm. A 2-run home run for Jace Jung. The Toledo Mud Hens take a 2-0 lead in the top of the first inning. The 1-1 driven the other way to left field. Alexander back at the wall, and it's a 2-homer night for Jace Jung. A 2-run homer in the first and a solo shot the other way in the third. And the Mud Hens lead 5-3 in the third inning.
Jace is currently at the AAA level with the Toledo Mud Hens. He is currently batting .270 with an on-base percentage of .398 and a slugging percentage of .510 for an OPS of .908. He is a guy that does have some power, much like his brother. He does have 14 home runs this year and 263 at-bats. Last year he did have 28 home runs and 486 at-bats. His strikeout to walk ratio, he has had 57 base on balls this year to 72 strikeouts, which is pretty good for a guy that does hit with a little bit of power. So that is Jace Jung. My last two guys are a little bit on the lower end of the list. First up is number 83, Zac Veen in the Colorado Rockies organization at the AA level. He is projected to be a 2024 call-up. He is 22 years old, 6'3", 190. Let's take a little look at Zac Veen.
Lifted towards left, back goes Ethan Wilson, back to the wall, jumps and will not catch it. Zac Veen goes the other way.
Here's the 0-1, and it's swung on, hit in the air, looping towards shallow center. It's down for a base hit. Osterberg fires home, runner takes off, pitch inside for a ball. And it's a stolen base for Veen. That's number 8 on the season from the stretch and deals. Swung on, line drive, falling in right field for a base hit.
Grounded down the right side and into right field for a base hit. And Zac Veen has his 4th hit of the night.
Zac currently is lighting it up down at the AA level with the Hartford Yard Goats. How do you like that name for a minor league team, the Yard Goats? I wouldn't mind getting a uniform for the Yard Goats. That'd be kind of cool. He is batting .289 with a .393 on-base percentage and a .472 slug for an OPS of .865. In 142 games this season, he has a total of only 5 home runs. Not a guy with a tremendous amount of power, but he does have pretty good plate discipline. He has had 23 base on balls to 41 strikeouts. I'm sure none of you have really heard about Zac, but he is a guy to definitely keep on your radar screen if he does get called up here before the end of the year. As we know, the Rockies are quite a bit out of the chase for any sort of a playoff spot, so this would be a good time for them to call up some of their younger prospects and give them a shot and see what they can do, to see if they have any ability going into next year and to get a better idea of what their team will look like for next year. So that is Zac Veen. Our last prospect that we're going to look at is Luisangel ACUNA. He is indeed the brother of Ronald Acuna Jr. He is a shortstop / second base / outfielder in the New York Mets organization at the AAA level. He is 22 years old and is projected to be up with the Mets before the end of the season. I would expect him to be called up if the Mets fall further out of the wild card chase. Right now they're kind of in it, kind of not in it, so we'll just have to see how this next month after the All-Star game plays out for the Mets and where they stand going into September. Let's take a little video clip look at Luisangel ACUNA.
Here's the pitch, and Acuna swings, lifts it over short into left center field for a hit. Acuna's heading for second. He is there standing up ahead of the throw, and the Syracuse Mets start the bottom of the first with an Acuna double.
Pitch, swinging a line drive to left. That ball down in front of Muzziotti, base hit. Acuna just crushed it, and the 2-2. Swing and a line drive center field. This ball down. Base hit. What a night, Luisangel ACUNA. Scalding hot. How about a 3-hit night for one of the top prospects in the sport?
Luisangel is currently at AAA Syracuse. He is batting .262 with a .313 on base percentage and a .357 slug for a OPS of .670. That is actually the lowest OPS that he has had in the last 5 years. Doesn't hit it with a lot of power. He only has 5 home runs and 367 at-bats. And his plate discipline needs to get just a little bit better. 26 base on balls to 61 strikeouts. But it is about the bloodline, and because he is Ronald Acuna Jr.'s brother, I would expect him to get called up and just see what he has if the Mets do fall a little bit further out of the wild card chase. That is my top 5. I did want to make a couple of additional notes. As you guys can tell, I did not bring up any pitchers at all. I was focusing primarily on the position players because they have the best value in a long-term situation. Let's flip over to eBay and take a look at each one of these 5 players, look at their Bowman First cards, and see which ones we can get for a great value, with the idea of possibly flipping them once these players do get called up to the Major League Baseball level. The first player on our list is Marcelo Mayer. His rookie card is from 2021 Bowman Draft. Here's a 2021 Bowman Draft Chrome that recently sold for $5. Here's an SGC 10 that sold for $5.50. If you can get a prospect like this for under $10 in an SGC 10, I would be picking that up. If you can get his rookie cards in raw form for under $10, I think you have the possibility of doubling your money once he is potentially called up in September. His cards are going to take off. So I would be investing and buying low right now with the idea of selling his cards in a month or two and basically making double the price that you paid for the card. Next on our list is Coby Mayo. We're going to be looking at primarily his 2022 cards because it looks like his 2021 Bowman Chrome first Bowman cards are all autograph cards. Those cards generally sell for between $100 to $150 for just the base Bowman Chrome. If it is a number Bowman Chrome, you're looking at $200 to $300. I did see an orange for $2,500 actually. But this 2022 card is his Bowman First Edition card. You can get this card at a pretty reasonable price. Here is a sky blue that recently sold for $9.99. His base looks like at around $2.25. Here is a blue card for $12.73. So that is really a good investment. I would expect his cards to really take off once he does come up, especially if he gets off to a great start with the Orioles. And I would hopefully see him before the end of the season. That is Coby Mayo. Next up on the list is Jace Jung. His Bowman first cards are from 2022. Here's a paper for 99 cents. A sapphire for $9.99. Another sapphire for $9.99. Here is another paper for $125 Bowman Draft. And another blue for $9.95. As you can see, you can get his paper for a really good price for under $5. And most of his colored cards are going to be $10 and under for the most part. And I would expect those cards to really take off once he does get called up again. That is Jace Jung. Next on our list is Zac Veen. His Bowman first cards are from 2020 Bowman Draft. Here is a sapphire for $12.50, a sky blue for $10, his paper card here for $2. There's another one for 99 cents, Bowman Chrome, and another Bowman Draft card, Chrome Bowman Draft card for $1.89. So as you can see, his Chromes you can get for under $5. His number cards are going to be for under $10. Really good prices on his cards. And that is Zac Veen. Last on the list is Luisangel ACUNA. His Bowman first cards are from 2020 Bowman. Most of them, again, appear to be autographed, similar to what we dealt with Coby Mayo. Here's one that recently sold for $850, but that was a numbered card, a gold number to 50. Another one right here, PSA 9 for $66. I'm primarily interested in his 2022 Bowman Draft cards. Here's a really nice yellow number to 75 for $850. You can get a pretty good price on his cards if you do a little searching around. Even getting his autograph card for under $100 might not necessarily be a bad idea. So that is Luisangel ACUNA. So that is my top 5 prospects that I would fully expect to get called up in September once the Major League Baseball rosters expand to 40 men. If that is the case, these guys' rookie cards and Bowman first cards are really going to take off before the end of the season, possibly double and triple in price. So my recommendation is to get in right now at a discounted price for pretty cheap and capitalize on it once they do get called up here in September. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. If you are new to the channel and want to be a member of the K-Cards community, please hit that like and subscribe down below. It does help the channel out quite a bit. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Be safe. Have a great weekend. And happy collecting.